Hi all, I'm Alan, and this is a very small session on ACCA AAA Advanced Audit and Assurance. And in this session, I would like to have a discussion on the audit risk and risk of material misstatement, which are the two commonly tested areas in AAA, and these are being tested as part of 50 marks question. And as we know, to have a good score in P7, we must have a good score in audit risk. And in order to have a good knowledge in audit risk, you must have good knowledge in the accounting standards. Well, only a student with good knowledge in the accounting standards will be able to explain the risk properly. So when it comes to the risk, we know basically we have two risks, the risk of material misstatement and the audit risk. And when it comes to the audit risk, basically we have three components for the audit risk, that is the inherent risk, control risk, and the detection risk. And when it comes to the risk of material misstatement, it's a combination of inherent risk and control risk. So the only difference between the risk of material misstatement and the audit risk is the detection risk. Even though on the basis of the theory perspective, both are entirely different, when it comes to the exam approach, the way we write the answers for both the risk of material misstatement and the audit risk is same. That is, we will be reading the scenario, then we will be picking up the risk and we will be explaining the risk. But rather than just picking and explaining, we need to follow a common format so that we can use this format in every scenarios. So the format is just like this. You need to pick up the scenario which indicates the risk, and you need to calculate the materiality for the risk. Once after calculating the materiality, you have to explain whether the risk is material, whether on the basis of its size or on the basis of its nature. And once explaining its materiality, you need to show the actual accounting treatment that is required for that scenario. And again, you need to explain what could go wrong regarding the accounting standards, and if something goes wrong, what is the impact that it may create over the financial statements. So this is what you need to explain in every audit risk and risk of material misstatement questions. So firstly, just identify the risk from the scenario, then calculate the materiality, show the actual accounting treatment required, then explain what could go wrong, and show the impact over the financial statement, whether it leads to an understatement or overstatement of the asset, whether it leads to an understatement or overstatement of the profit or the revenue, whether it leads to an understatement or overstatement of the liabilities, so on and so on. So this is how we need to explain the answers. But during the course of exam, many of the students used to struggle in this area. For some students, it is very difficult for them to find out the risk from the scenario. But on the other hand, for others, it might be difficult for them to explain it on the light of the accounting standards. So in order to solve this issue, I've gone through almost all the past question papers that shows the questions over the risk of material misstatement and the audit risk. And I have summarized the answers in general terms. So you can use these answers in every scenarios that you may get in your exam. So this is a file of audit risk, and I've included this file as a PDF in the attached link with this post. So you can use the link to download the file. And in this file, I have included the heading for each risk. For example, in case if there is a weak corporate governance in the company, then in case if there is a rapid growth in the company, in case if the company have introduced a new IT system, in case if the company is relying more on the e-commerce transaction, then in case if the company lack a finance director. So I have identified some common risk, and this file has around 60 audit risk and its explanation in the light of the accounting standards. So you can use this file, and for example, if your question specifies that the company have introduced a new IT system, you can write the same thing in your answer on the basis of the scenario. So use this file for your reference purpose, and this might help you well in your exam. So please go through the file, and it shows the impact, it shows the accounting treatment required, it shows what could go wrong and everything based on that scenario. So it's a very humble request. While reading this session, You might have an adequate knowledge in the way you need to present the answer. But in order to present your answer properly, you must practice your revision kit. So please practice the approved learning providers revision kit. You can please use the BPP or Kaplan revision kit to practice well and do well in your exam. So please use this note for the revision purpose and practice your sessions well and gain good marks in exams. Thank you so much. Good luck.